Storyblocks Audio. 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 Storyblocks Audio.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's right. So anyway, my point is, we have to live a certain way. It's important. Some people want to live with just a facade here. Ay, que es a facade, cálmate. Hey, I didn't know what that meant. So I'm going to pretend like not everybody knows what that means. A facade is like a front. It's just a front. It's just a face. There's nothing real behind it. And that's how many people like to live. It's just a front. They're fake. Most people are fake. Right? And so then you're going to crash and burn. You're going to crash and burn. Because it's not going to take you anywhere. It has to change from the inside out. Let me give you some examples. A person with a bitter attitude, you're talking about a person that's, develops complaining habits, which leads to negative lifestyles, which leads to a lonely destiny. A person with a grateful attitude, and this is the one I learned. Gratitude, oh man. I'm so grateful for what, I'm so grateful. I just live a grateful life. Some people tell me I'm too nice. I'm grateful because that develops a positive habits, serving and giving and encouraging, which creates a joyful lifestyle, which leads to a blessed destiny. And I don't even want to get into that. We have a text messaging with my family, and I get to see my grandchildren all the time, and they're growing up, and it's just awesome. It's just incredible what I can bring as opposed to what I used to take. Daniel, in the Bible, Daniel's lifestyle was of prayer and devotion, right? He was able to make it out of everything that he went through because God was with him because of his lifestyle. God called Caleb, he's the only one that made it through the promised land because the Bible says, because Caleb followed me fully. He had a different lifestyle. Samson, on the other hand, right? Man of God, great potential, great strength. But what happened? He fell to a different lifestyle. And then when it was really important, when the Bible says that then he didn't know that God had left him. So, lifestyle is important. So, why is lifestyle matters in recovery and life change? Many of us were drug addicts. People don't fail to recover because of one mistake. It's usually a lifestyle issue. I see it all the time. People trying to change their lives. People come to church. They want to change their lives. They want to do better. But their past keeps pulling them back. And because they don't change the way they're living, how they hang around with, they just keep it and go back and back. It doesn't work. If you keep old habits, old friends, and old environments, what's going to happen? It's so simple to see now. To change your life, you must adopt a new lifestyle, period. That's why we tell people, just keep coming. People wonder, wow, you just want me to come to church? Yes. Yes. You need to come. Where else are you going to go? Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
accepted Christ, I live way out there in Mission, on Inspiration Road, and I worked in Park, right next to the expressway. And I got saved. So very easy when I get out of work was to get the expressway and go this way around and get to my house in less than half an hour. But along the way was my own neighborhood, where I had my own connections, my own lifestyle that I had.
And you're talking when you first got saved, I think you began,
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes, when I first got saved. So I would take the long route. No, I don't know, that take me at least an hour to get home. Why? Because the temptation was there, everything was there, my old friends, everything was there.
Yeah.
And it took a couple of months, prayer, talking to people, coming to service and everything, reading the Bible. It got to a point, okay, I'm working and the Holy Spirit spoke to me, said, you know what, go back to your neighborhood. But you're talking about months. So I remember going back to my own neighborhood on that day, and I'm there in the car, and somebody knocks on the window. And I open the window and I look at them, and he had some drugs with him. He said, hey, how would you like some road or free? And I'm looking at them, and I'm over here thinking to myself, who's going to see me? Nobody knows I'm here.
Yeah.
But as God started showing me the people that I talked to, people that I encouraged, people that I prayed for, and so forth, and I said, you know what? No. He said, so now you're free. And that gave me the confidence and be able to talk to people, help them out of the neighborhood, help them out of whatever. I love the drug addicts, not because they're doing what they're doing, because that's who I was,
Yeah.
and I can relate to them.
Yeah.
But stay away from the old friends.
Yeah. No, and that's why I always say, at the beginning, we have to force ourselves. Because our mindset, just the way we think, just automatically, like what he said something about, nobody's going to see me. Because that's how our mind thinks. We're deceitful, we're manipulative, right? That's how we think. Still, we have to control it. Still, we have to be honest with ourselves. Before you know it, that stuff doesn't bother you anymore. I mean, it just doesn't bother you anymore. So let's close. Anybody else have anything else to say? You know what, Chavaria, let's pass around the donation bucket. Every meeting we pass around the donation bucket, and that keeps the coffee going and the donuts coming, and just help us out a little bit here. And but your lifestyle, this is what Choose a Change is all about. Clean living, surrounding yourself with the right people, daily disciplines, prayer, accountability, service. So we're doing. I was thinking something else también. Because the mind plays tricks on us. And we start thinking to ourselves, man, well, everybody else doesn't have to come to church. Everybody else doesn't have to come to Choose a Change. Why do I have to come? Why do I have to do these? Because you're not everybody else. I've come to believe that I don't know how God's going to work it all out, but this is where we wound up. You have to decide what you want to do with your life, where you're going, we'll get to that in a couple of weeks, which is where we start. But let's close with a challenge. Let's close with a challenge. What does your current lifestyle look like? What does it say about you? About your values, your beliefs, what you believe? Because we don't do what we do because it's necessarily fun. We do what we do because of what we believe. Does that make sense? That's why we do what we do. That's just how it is. So, what does your lifestyle look like? What What does it say to people, the way you live? Is your lifestyle taking you or bringing you closer to God? Or is it tearing you apart from God or from the church or from your purpose? Are you moving forward or are you going backwards? That's what your lifestyle sees. Shows. What is one habit that you could change this week to begin reshaping your lifestyle? Well, for one, you made one. You made a choice. That's awesome. You know, today, from now on, I'm not going to complain about this. I'm going to complain about everything else, but not this. You know what? I'm going to walk 5 minutes a day. That's why I ask people to read Proverbs when they do the challenge. Read one proverb a day. Do something different. This is how you start. Just remember, guys, we're here just learning a few things to help us continue building our life, rebuilding our lives. You don't decide your destiny in one big choice. You decide your destiny through daily habits that build your lifestyle. That's how it works. Listen, as simple as that sounds, how many understood that before? It took me years to understand it. I thought I could just live with this facade, with this just doing the right thing but not living a certain way. You can't change your life if you keep on cheating and lying and manipulating. Or at least become a better man or a better person or a better Christian. You have to change those things. Another thing you might consider is who you listen to. That's a big one, no? Who are you getting advice from? I wouldn't be getting advice from a drug addict. Why are you laughing, Abel? I mean, think about it. I mean, would you? No. It doesn't make any sense. You're trying to change your life. You're trying to do what's right. You're trying to better your life. And instead of listening to a sister or a brother from church or Choose to Change or the pastor, you listen to your drug addict friend. Your drug dealer. Well, my drug dealer asked, you know how those drug dealers, I mean, some of mine would tell me, just go home, Orlando. I didn't want to go home. Oh, man. Yes, sir. You decide your destiny through your daily
You know, I gotta say something, Orlando.
Thank you.
Anyways, one time they told me that and I approached some people, and it was in prison.
Okay, I was about to ask, was it here, outside, or in prison?
I approached the people here and out here and in prison.
Okay.
And they told me this word. I really got offended, and they told me, "Retírate, retírate." And I never forget that, right? And I stayed still because I didn't want to distance myself. But I had to move. If not, stuff was going to go down, okay? But I never forget it. Retírate. So I practice that today. I learned from it, right? And one of the things in my lifestyle that I'm doing today is that I'm distancing myself physically and socially with all the old people in places, Orlando. So it's like you mentioned earlier, the fight, right? And I fight to distance myself from the bad things that are going to harm me or that they're not beneficial for me.
Yeah. And
so,
you know.
So Yeah, and compared to living a lifestyle, I mean, even a convict lifestyle,
There you go.
estilo convicto. So you get to practice that and you learn that, and it's all you know.
That's right.
Keep coming back, and thinking it's real cool because you're a convict, estilo convicto, That's what you're about. Waxing the floor on your 6x9, all that stuff. So that's old, man. And sometimes I catch myself talking this talk,
Yeah, I
I
know.
need to distance
I know.
myself from the talk. My wife told me that sometimes I sound like that, and for her to tell me that, I got to check it out. I gotta change my ways. If she noticed that, then can you imagine other people or my workplace or wherever. They're gonna notice that too. So yeah, retírate, distance yourself from the old people, places, and things.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because you can talk to somebody in one setting, but you hear them talking a whole different way in another setting. Like in church, new converts, come, they talk here really, but then they're out there with their homeboys or with their friends, and it's a different totally language. Their street language or their whatever language, it's different. Why? Because they still haven't. When you change, you change. You don't get influence, you influence. See how that works? Anybody else? Go ahead. Go ahead. Appreciate your input.
I don't know if you know, but I have a brother named Mario, and he went in and out of prison,
Hmm.
I think 2 to 3 times, and he does belong to the Christian Fellowship in Austin. And one of the things he did, now I realize what you're saying, because he said that when he was telling the last time he got out, he told, I guess, what is it, when you go to a halfway house or something like that? When you get out, that he told them, whatever you do, send me anywhere you want, just don't send me back to the valley.
Hmm.
Because every time he came back to the valley, he was hanging around with the same people. And of course, it's his choice, right? But he said that he needed to make that choice. So they sent him to Austin. And he's been there ever since. And he's been now he's a children's church for the Door Christian Fellowship in
Who's your brother?
Mario Estrada. He's married to Veronica. Pastor Luis, Alaka's sister. Yeah.
The
So,
short guy?
yes, he's my brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who he is now.
Yeah. So he said, he goes, if I go back, we thought, okay, like, why Austin? Like, I told him, what are you doing over there? You have your family. He goes, I can't go back. He goes, if I go back, I'm gonna end up going back to prison, and I don't want to go back. So he stayed over there, and I go, well, where did you live? How did you do it? He goes, when you want something, the desire,
That's it. Desire.
and he goes, you make it happen. So he said that every single day he lived at the shelter, what is it?
Shelter?
Salvation Army. So he lived there. So every morning, he had a place to sleep. He would get his bags, go to work. He said he had his own personal chaperone, the buses, the metro. It would take him to work, bring him back to the salvation. But he did that every single until he got established, and he ended up getting married with Veronica and all that. But it was he said it was a struggle. He goes, it wasn't easy. But I know what I wanted. I didn't want to go back.
Wow, that's
So
powerful. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was like, right now, when you were saying all that, it's true. They have a choice. You have to have the desire to want it, to be able to, and nobody can do it. It's just like with my son. I can't do it for him. Now
No.
I'm understanding. I can't do it for him. He has to want it.
Yeah, no.
But,
And that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And so then that's what, just give him. That's the thing is, I was just telling Abel over here this earlier today. The reason why I emphasize so much all the time, this is no easy way out. Because you have to want it with everything inside of you. Because if you don't, it's not going to work. And you got to do whatever it takes. I love that story. That's incredible. That's it. I've told people maybe you have to go back to prison. Maybe you have to live in the park for a while. I don't know what you have to do. But if you're going to change, you're going to have to make some drastic moves. I'll close with a story. Little simple story. Maybe some of you have heard it. Real simple. There's an old Cherokee story about a grandfather teaching his grandson about life. The story goes, he told the boy, inside every person, there are two wolves that are constantly at war. I think we all can understand that. One wolf is full of anger and envy and laziness and fear and bad habits. The other wolf is full of joy and peace and discipline and faith and good habits. The grandson thought about it for a moment, and then he asked, Grandpa, so which one wins? And it's so simple, man. It's what I'm teaching here. The old man quietly replied, the one you feed the most. And it's so simple. But it's going to reflect in your lifestyle, in your habits, in your attitudes. So that's all I have. So guys, thank you for coming, and I hope you learned something. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Tuesday.